go to court. So it becomes very difficult to prosecute that person. But we are taking action, and we will see some files people being charged very, very quickly. When we interviewed people, we had about close to 3,000 people are pre-qualified for jobs. Then they went back and they have given us, I think we are close now to maybe 1,000 job offers, and they keep on coming. Because the recruitment was done for projects. And so, for example, you're hired as a driver, and you're hired to work at a hotel, and they are constructing that hotel, and that hotel has a construction delay of 6 months. There's no way you can be given a visa when ukakai hapo unalipa mshahara, yet the job has not kicked in yet. So they'll only issue you a visa when the position is open and they're ready. Others are delayed because of processes. We are competing with other countries. So for example, they go and they have accommodation. They go and get accommodation maybe for people from India, and then they realize the only accommodation left is where you're going to share with people from India and other people. They say they prefer Kenyans living as Kenyans in one place, to avoid, hii mambo ya cultural differences, na vita mtu anapika chakula usiku mkilala ujui what, vitu vingine hiyo. So at times they say we don't have enough space for your people, give us 2 months, we get the space, then they're going to come. Because most of these jobs, accommodation is provided, a lot of things are provided. So that's why I say, let's be patient. Let's be patient.
Dr. Mutua, perhaps a question from me. How far back will the prosecution?
Who is me?
Clive Ayuko, I represent the Whistling African, which is an online news portal. You mentioned something on prosecutions. How far back will these prosecutions go? Because it's a recurring news that we've been hearing about.
I think the challenge we faced, and that's a very good question, is that we haven't seen substantial prosecution. And that's a big problem, and we are addressing it as a government. When I got into this docket, I was hoping that within a month I would have people going to jail. But it's taken too long. But it's an issue we are addressing. It's an issue I've brought it up even in my cabinet meetings. So it's an issue that we are dealing with.
Yes.
Swali lingine, maybe lastly.
Chikanga is my name from The Voice KE. So I just want to know, because some of the people from the first lot do complain that upon inquiring about the delay, they are being told that they are being asked for extra fee from the 55,000 they expected.
Now they're talking to the wrong people. Because you extra fee. Yeah, either they're talking to the wrong person or they're lying to you. Yeah, because the fee was broken down in terms of service fee, what you need to do for your medicals, the double x-rays and all that. So it's actually a fee that is actually being used not to profit anybody, but to actually process you, to pay for the visa and get all those things done. So mtu anasema anauza pesa ingine, they're talking to the wrong person. Maybe ni watu wa kando trying to convert. But I don't believe that is happening. Asante sana. Media house? No, media house?
Yes.
Yes, which media house?
I just have two questions. On the flagging of these brokers, if you have spoken, they come from specific regions, like Yambu, Nairobi, I'm looking at what about the other regions, Lava and Rift Valley? Maybe you can explain that. And then from this, the division is flagging of the day. How many are going for the first time? Because I've spoken to few here that drivers and whatever is broken going to the existing countries that are working. So from this delegation, how many are going for the first time?
We have got about, I think, 60.
60 is traveling tomorrow.
They are flying tomorrow.
You are free to come and.
You are free to come and say they are going for the
first
time.
timers.
They are first timers. A lot of them are first timers. But we had the DP flagged off over 300. Another time I flagged off another 100. So they are going every week, even new timers. So they travel every week. So we'll get them to give you your testimonies. Others are repeats, where you come back, you get a job again, and you go to that country. So others are going back, but majority of here are going back for the first time. Others here, they are telling me, they were telling me, I know some of them are here, I don't know, when we were recruiting them, are they in here? I also want to request the media, this is just for you, when you put headlines of countries, the countries panic, and they slow down in provision of visas for our people. So it's very important that you also get both sides of the story before you mention foreign countries, because they can lock out Kenyans. Because they're asking, Why are we mentioned in Kenya? We're never mentioned in Uganda. We're not mentioned in South Africa. Why Kenya? So it's also good to think responsibly. You may also be cutting short the opportunities of many of our struggling people. That's just a community service request. It is not an order, just a request for you to consider how you do these diplomatic things. Very, very important, especially when you are questioning something that there is actually a real story of what is going on. But you're only getting one side of the story and running with it because it is sensational. Number two, before they can get a few passports, I give them passports here while they are traveling. Some of these visas came out 2 weeks ago. They have been in process. Some people have already traveled today, others traveled last week. Ati kelele ikiendelea, people are still traveling. And we're not going to stop. Mimi, my eyes are on the ball. Mimi nimejua mambo hii kukua distracted sijuangi mimi. My eyes are on the ball. Na mwisho kabisa, public service announcement. We will be releasing a hotline next week for people to report harassment, especially by managers who are forcing our girls to sleep with them so they can get jobs or get promotions and even firing them. And I hear pia, nimepigiwa simu na pia some of your people in media who are facing the same problem. So don't be afraid to talk to me. And so we'll be having a hotline, and we will be able to ensure that you know, some of us have daughters who are mature. You know, we have sons who are mature, and I don't want my son anaenda hapo. Some of you have boyfriends, have girlfriends. Anapata kazi, unamwona ameenda amepata kazi, ameandikwa for 2 weeks, yuko gloomy kwa sababu hataki kukwambia ile vitu alienda kufanya huko ndio apate kazi. Nyinyi mnajenga nyumba. So this is something that is, sexual harassment is a reality. We have to deal with it. So I'm compiling names of companies. So next week tunaweza announce a few companies that are notorious for some of these behaviors. But we get the hotline so that we can be able, as a government, we can able to combat this, and we look at regulations and see how we can arrest. Ndio hao wengine hao predators. These are predators. Waekwe pingu. Kwa hivyo manager, mali huko, saa hii unafikiria funga zip, uende nyumbani kwa bibi yako. Waje kuchukua sana. You know, ama wewe mama, waharia na wengine wachana na wewe. You know, wacha. Ni kweli hiyo. Wanasumbuliwa sana hao vijana. Wanaambiwa wako na stamina. Wako na shida sana. Wanasumbuliwa sana. Let me just do this. I decided, I talked to the Senate before coming here, and I said I'll issue a statement. I don't want to go outside the realms of anything that I'll say in the Senate.
It's just based on what you have said here.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically maybe you can just help us define what you mean when you say they need to be patient. Because some of them came in October, they got the interview, they got the offer letters, and they're still waiting up until this time. Some of them say their lives have been totally derailed. They have,
let me just put it this way.
They have loans that they're supposed to be paying, but they haven't seen any movement from your end.
Let me say this. So, if you came in October, and some traveled immediately because the positions were open. Others traveled 3 months later. Others traveled later. So, if you came in October, it's a job opportunity. It is not a guarantee of life. It's a job opportunity, which you yourself can change your mind not to go. That's obvious. So we came in October, and it has taken long for the visa to come out. It is not the fault of the agency here. It's an employer who says, this time I want to take so many. You know, and we made it clear to them at the very beginning, saying these jobs, some of them may even take a year to go. For example, people who are nurses, they still are going through exams, and it will take a year for them to go through the relevant exams, bureau exams, before they can travel. So tunasema hii mambo mtu anasema ati maisha yake iliharibika because they were offered a job. You know, you are offered a job. So you wait for the job. You can be offered a job at your media house today, and you are told, wait, you've been offered a job. That doesn't mean that if the job does not come tomorrow or a week later or 2 months later, maisha yako imesambaratika. I mean, let's be realistic. So you are offered a job, be patient. If you feel you don't want to go, just come and say, give me back the money I paid. I don't want to go anymore. I'll use that money for something else. If somebody does not give you back your money, come to me. We'll make sure they give you back your money or they get to jail. That's my role, so that nobody feels that. Lakini story ati maisha yangu imeharibika, I was offered a job. Hapana, you offered a job, but you've not traveled yet. You know? So don't that excuse I don't buy it. Ya kwamba ati because you offered a job and you are still waiting 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you've not traveled, ati maisha imesambaratika. Because before you offer the job, there's something you're doing. So if you don't want to go, return. But my job is to ensure that we speed up. But I cannot tell another country how fast to issue your visa. If you're going to Australia, for example, a visa processing for going to work takes a minimum of 6 to 7 to 8 months, just the visa. And then you have to do all the other medicals, you have to do the second test. So it takes time. So just because you've gotten a job offer doesn't mean you're traveling tomorrow. And if you're impatient and you're running to the media, then we're starting to think maybe that attitude is not the right attitude to represent us diplomatically outside this country.